Effective immediately. HR downstairs. 5 words. That was all Madison Lawson said before she placed the termination letter on my desk and walked away. No handshake, no reason given. Just a single sheet of paper that would blow up a $285 million merger in exactly 72 hours. She had no clue what she had just set in motion. My name is Jim Bennett. I'm 50 years old, and I just got fired from Graybridge Defense Systems, the company I'd given 23 years of my life to. I looked down at the paper. Thick, expensive cream stock, the kind used when they want something to look important. My name printed at the top. The date and time marked across the center. I glanced at my watch. It was exactly 12 noon on a Monday. My $127,000 performance bonus was set to hit my account on Thursday at noon, exactly 72 hours from that moment. Madison thought she was being smart. Get rid of me before payday, save the company the money. What she didn't realize was that bonus wasn't just a payment. It was a trigger connected to the one thing holding her deal together. Here's what you need to know. That $127,000 was linked to a clause written 12 years ago by the company's founder, Colonel William Hutchinson. Bill was a retired Marine, the type of man who believed your word mattered and loyalty went both ways. When he added that clause into my contract, he made sure no one could ever take away what we'd built side by side. The clause was simple. Once that bonus was paid, full ownership of our core defense protocol, the ironclad system, would automatically transfer to me, not symbolically, legally. And without that system, Graybridge had nothing to offer Sentinel Defense Group. Madison had just triggered a bomb she didn't even know was there. I signed the termination notice without saying a word. My hand was steady. I stood up, picked up my coat, and walked toward the elevator. HR was waiting in the lobby, like they were escorting someone out for a crime. I nodded and kept moving. On my desk, I'd left a small black USB drive. I noticed Madison glance at it as I walked past her office. She probably thought it was my backup, proof she had everything she needed. That drive was empty, had been for years. Every real backup, every line of code for the ironclad system, was locked behind biometric encryption that only I could open. I got into my truck and drove home. The city looked the same. People going about their Monday. No one knew that in 72 hours, the biggest defense merger of the year would fall apart, and it would all trace back to 5 words in a quiet office. When I walked through the front door, Carol was in the kitchen. She took one look at my face and set her coffee down. "Jim, I got fired. What happened?" Madison walked into my office at noon and handed me a termination letter. Effective immediately. Carol has been my wife for 25 years. She's seen me through 8 years in the Navy, through long nights when systems failed, through crises that would have broken other marriages. But this was different. Ashley is a senior in college. Brian is a junior. We have tuition bills and a mortgage. Why would she do that? Because she wants to cut me out before my bonus pays. She thinks she's saving $127,000. And the clause? She just set it off. In 72 hours, I'll own the ironclad system, not Graybridge, me. Carol pulled out the chair across from me and sat down. What about the merger? Dead without it. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said something I wasn't ready to hear. "Jim, you've given them 23 years. What about us? What about Ashley and Brian? What about your health?" That hit harder than losing the job. 3 months ago, my doctor told me my blood sugar was too high. Prediabetes. He said I needed to reduce stress, lose some weight, maybe even think about retiring early. I'd promised Carol we would go to Montana for a month after this merger closed. Just us, a quiet lake, and no phones. I know what I promised. Do you? Because you've been talking about retirement for 2 years, and you're still working every weekend. This is different. I closed my laptop and did not forward the email to anyone. The less I did, the more they would panic. That afternoon, my phone rang again. It was Alan Ridgway, one of our senior engineers. I had been training Alan for 3 years, teaching him not only the technical side, but also how to think like an architect. He was 32, sharp and loyal in a way that is rare now. "Mr. Bennett, I wanted to tell you something." "What is it?" "Madison called me into her office this morning. She offered me VP of Engineering, $200,000 salary, said I could start Monday. I waited. I told her I do not work for titles. I work for people who earn respect." Then I walked out. Something in my chest eased. "You did not have to do that, Alan." "Yes, I did. You taught me that integrity matters more than money. I am not forgetting that just because she is offering more pay. I appreciate it. One more thing. She asked me where you kept the ironclad backups. I told her I did not know. She even tried to access your old workstation. They will not find anything." That is what I thought. Just wanted you to know she is panicking. After we ended the call, I leaned back and thought about what Alan had said. Madison was rushing, trying every possible way she could think of, but it was already too late. The clause was already moving. Carol walked into the office with a sandwich. "You need to eat. I am fine." "Jim, you look tired. When did you last sleep properly?" "I slept last night. For 4 hours. I heard you get up." She put the plate down. "This is not just about the merger, is it?" I looked at her. "What do you mean? You are holding something inside. You have been for years." "It is not only about protecting Bill's legacy. It is about proving you were right to give them 23 years. She was right. Part of me wanted Madison to understand what she had lost, not for revenge, for proof. To know that all those late nights, all those weekends, all those times I chose work over family dinners actually meant something. "Maybe," I said. Carol held my shoulder. "Finish it." "Then we are going to Montana, and you will let this go." That evening, the news came out. Graybridge Defense Systems stock fell 15%. The financial channels showed alerts. Unconfirmed risk in Sentinel merger. Key licensing issue raises investor concerns. Graybridge declines comment. I watched it all on my phone. Inside Graybridge headquarters, it must have been chaos. Emergency board meetings. Lawyers running around. Madison trying to explain what happened while her father, Charles Lawson, demanded answers. My phone vibrated with a message from an unknown number. "We need you back, but not under Madison." That was Randall Pierce. I recognized the style. He had been in enough meetings with me to know my value. But I did not reply. Not yet. Some offers are better when they ask again. Another news alert came. Sentinel Defense Group declines to confirm merger timeline. That was a clear warning. It told investors the deal might not happen. It told Graybridge's board they had lost control. That afternoon, another big update came in. Sentinel Defense Group released a statement. Due to unresolved contractual concerns, Sentinel is suspending merger discussions with Graybridge Defense Systems pending further review. Not canceled. Suspended. That was worse. It meant they were keeping the door open while they looked at other options. And I knew exactly what option they were considering. An hour later, my phone rang. Thomas Vaughn, CEO of Sentinel Defense Group. "Mr. Bennett, I wanted to inform you directly. We're suspending the Graybridge merger." I said, "I saw the statement." He continued, "There's another reason I'm calling. My legal team reviewed your background. 23 years at Graybridge, primary architect on every major DoD contract they've won. The Ironclad system's success is clearly tied to you, not the company." I stayed quiet. He added, "We drafted an alternative proposal yesterday, a direct partnership between Sentinel and you personally, if you're interested." I glanced at the countdown. 14 hours, 8 minutes, 22 seconds. I said I'd need to review the terms. He replied, "I'll send it within the hour." "Mr. Bennett, I'll be direct. We need someone we can trust. That's you, not Graybridge. After we ended the call, I sat there for a while. It was actually happening. Not just the merger falling apart, but everything after it. A new path forward, one where I controlled the terms. The news spread quickly. Sentinel suspends Graybridge merger. Defense deal in danger over personnel dispute. CEO's daughter faces board pressure. I found a live stream from outside Graybridge headquarters. Madison was leaving the building, surrounded by security. Reporters shouting questions. Her face looked pale, jaw tight, eyes fixed ahead. The caption at the bottom read, VP Madison Lawson declines comment on merger suspension. Social media exploded. Someone found Madison's LinkedIn where she had posted about the merger 3 months ago. Proud to lead this transformational partnership. The future of defense technology starts here. Now the comments were harsh. People were calling it premature, arrogant, uninformed. My phone buzzed again. An email from Vaughn. Subject, Partnership Proposal. Bennett Defense Solutions. I opened it. The terms were very generous. 3-year consulting contract, $15 million total compensation, equity stake in the ironclad deployment, full creative control over technical decisions. Part-time work, remote when possible. It was everything I had wanted and never even asked for. I forwarded it to my attorney with a note. Review this. I think we have a deal. His reply came back in 5 minutes. This is excellent. Better than anything Graybridge ever offered you. Let's move ahead. That evening, Carol and I sat on the porch. The sun was setting, coloring the sky orange and purple. She held my hand, something she hadn't done in a while. It's almost over, she said. Yeah. How do you feel? I thought about it. Tired, relieved, ready to be done. No regrets? About leaving Graybridge? No. About the 23 years? Some days yes, some days no. I built something that mattered. That counts for something. She squeezed my hand. It counts for a lot. The countdown on my monitor upstairs showed 11 hours, 42 minutes, 6 seconds. By tomorrow noon, the ironclad system would be mine, not Graybridge's, not Madison's, mine. And then I could finally let it all go. I didn't sleep much that night. Carol found me at 3 a.m. sitting at my desk, watching the countdown tick down. She didn't say anything, just placed her hand on my shoulder and stayed there until I finally went back to bed. Thursday morning came cold and clear. I made coffee and sat on the porch, watching the neighborhood wake up. My phone was off. I didn't need distractions for what was coming next. At 11:55 a.m., I went upstairs and opened my laptop. The countdown showed 4 minutes, 38 seconds. Carol stood in the doorway watching. You sure about this? She asked. Yeah, I'm sure. The numbers ticked down. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. At exactly 12 Gaur noon, the screen flashed. Transfer complete. No alarms, no celebration, just a simple notification and a PDF that appeared on screen. I opened it. The licensing certificate for the Ironclad Protocol, updated automatically. Owner, James Bennett. 23 years of work, now mine. I downloaded the file, saved it in 3 separate encrypted locations, and sent a 1-line email to my attorney. It's done. His response came back instantly. Congratulations! Nobody can touch it now. Carol walked over and looked at the screen. That's it? That's it. She wrapped her arms around me from behind. How does it feel? Honestly? I just feel tired. My phone was still off, but when I turned it back on an hour later, it blew up. 43 missed calls, 67 text messages. My voicemail was full. The news had already spread. Sentinel Defense Group announces exclusive partnership with Bennett Defense Solutions. The press release was simple. Sentinel is pleased to confirm a strategic partnership with James Bennett for the continued development and deployment of the Ironclad Defense Protocol. No mention of Graybridge, no mention of Madison, just my name and the system I had built. One of the texts was from Alan. Sir, I saw the news. Does this mean what I think it means? I called him back. It means I'm starting a consulting firm, and I'm bringing you on as technical director if you're interested. Absolutely. When do we start? 30 days. I've got to take my wife to Montana first. You earned it, sir. Another text came through, this one from a number I didn't recognize, but the message made it clear. Jim, this is Charles Lawson. I owe you an apology. I was blind to what Madison did. If there's any way to make this right. I stared at the message for a long moment. Charles wasn't a bad man. He had just made the mistake many parents make, thinking his child could do no wrong. But some things can't be fixed with apologies. I wrote back. I appreciate that, Charles. But it's time for both of us to move forward. Good luck. The financial networks ran the story all day. Graybridge's stock was falling fast, down 31% total. Analysts were calling it one of the worst merger collapses in defense industry history. One headline read, How a $127K bonus clause destroyed a $285 million deal. That evening, my phone rang one more time. It was Randall Pierce. Jim, I won't take much of your time. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. We should have protected you better. Bill would have been ashamed of how this turned out. Bill built the protection I needed 12 years ago. He knew what could happen. He was smarter than all of us. Randall paused. For what it's worth, Madison's no longer with the company. The board asked for her resignation this morning. I didn't feel the satisfaction I expected. Just a quiet acknowledgement. What about Charles? He's staying on, but it's complicated. The board isn't happy. None of this had to happen. No, it didn't. After we ended the call, I found Carol in the kitchen making dinner. Madison's out, I told her. How do you feel about that? I don't know. It's not about her anymore. It's about what comes next. Carol smiled. Montana? Montana. 3 weeks. Just us. We spent the weekend quietly. I ignored most of the calls, answered a few emails, and started sketching out what Bennett Defense Solutions would look like. Alan and I talked twice about bringing in 2 other engineers from Graybridge, people I trusted who deserved better than what that company had become. On Monday, I signed the partnership agreement with Sentinel. The contract was everything Vaughn had promised. 3 years, part-time consulting, full control over technical choices. After that, complete retirement at 53. Tuesday morning, Carol and I packed up the truck and drove west toward Montana. We had rented a small cabin by a lake. No cell signal. Nothing but water and trees and quiet. The drive took 2 days. Somewhere in Wyoming, my phone finally stopped ringing. The news cycle had shifted. Graybridge was someone else's issue now. When we reached the cabin, I stood on the dock and looked out over the water. The sun was going down, turning everything gold. Carol walked up next to me. You did it, she said. We did it. I couldn't have gotten through it without you. So what now? Now? I go fishing. I stop looking at my phone every few minutes. I remember what it feels like to just live without a crisis hanging over my head. And in 30 days, I go back, train Alan and the team, build something new with people who actually earn their place at the table. Then in 3 years, I'm finished for good. Carol smiled. I'm going to hold you to that. 2 weeks into Montana, my phone rang. It was a Pentagon area code. I almost didn't pick up, but curiosity won. Mr. Bennett, we have a situation. Critical infrastructure breach. I'll have my team contact you. Alan Ridgway will take care of it. But sir, we specifically asked, Alan's good, better than good. Trust him. I ended the call and walked back to the porch where my grandson was trying to tie a fishing knot. He was 7, full of focus and determination. I showed him how to loop it the right way, the same way Bill had taught me 30 years ago. Grandpa, did you really used to work for the Army? Kind of. I built systems that kept important things safe. Like what? Like power plants and communications. Things people need every day. Are you going to do it again? I thought about that. For a little while. Then I'm going to teach other people how to do it. And after that, I'm going to retire and take you fishing more often. He smiled. Deal. That night, Carol and I sat on the dock watching the stars. The kind of stars you only see when you're far away from cities and responsibilities and 23 years of carrying other people's weight. Any regrets? She asked. About leaving? No. About how it ended? Maybe. I wish Madison had just read the contract. It would have saved everyone a lot of trouble. Do you think she learned anything? I hope so, but that's not my problem anymore. Carol rested her head on my shoulder. Bill would be proud of you. Yeah, I think he would. 72 hours. That's all it took to change everything. Madison thought she was cutting costs. What she really did was hand me my future and show that skill, loyalty, and doing the work actually matter. I'm 50 years old. I've got 3 years of consulting left, then I'm done. And somewhere in Virginia, there's a boardroom learning the hard way that some people can't just be replaced. Not because they're irreplaceable, but because they earned that place.